up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ariel and I am the co-founder of Flourish Lashes. And in this video, I am going to be doing something that I haven't done in a very long time. We are going straight into lash tips, so let's jump right into it. All right, we are going to be talking all about bonding surface. If you don't know what bonding surface is, you are in luck because I'm about to enlighten you. So let's get into it. I actually am going to be doing this on my whiteboard. Let me go get it. Hold on. All right. Before we get into it, what is bonding surface? Okay, bonding surface is basically the amount of extension that is fully bonded to the natural lash. And however long that piece of attachment is the level of bonding surface we actually have. Now I'm gonna give you guys a little visual so you can fully see it. That's what the whiteboard's for. So let's talk about why this is important first, okay? Now, the reason why I am breaking this down for you guys is because this also has to do with variations, because I really want you guys to understand that there are two different reasons why we use variations, whether we're talking about length, whether we're talking about weight, curl, anything of that nature. And that I'll get into a different video, but what I wanna talk about here is the bonding surface and what that does for the actual weight, curl, or diameter. It's not necessarily diameter, it's more so the weight and the curl. Not the weight, it's more so the curl and the length, okay? But specifically what I'm talking about here is going to be all about curls. So let's get into my little drawing here. Okay, we wanna see what that's gonna do to our average lash. So let's say we throw our C-curl on here and we do something like this. That looks like a pretty good C-curl. Now, I'm also going to show you guys what I'm talking about when I say bonding surface. Now, this is the bonding surface I'm referring to. This right here. Do you see that? It is a good bonding surface, okay? That is definitely a lot of attachment, which is exactly what we want. This is gonna equal high retention, okay? Now, if we go and draw ourselves a little D-curl, I'm gonna do it this way because I can't see, okay? So if I go and draw a D-curl, obviously our D-curl is gonna be a little more curled because that's the goal here. Now, this is gonna be my D-curl right here, okay? That being said, we can already see how the level of bonding surface has decreased, okay? It's decreased a ton. Now, is it decreased in a way that we can't use it? Absolutely not. It still has a nice amount of bonding surface, to be honest. It's enough that's gonna give us a good level of retention. Now, can this affect our retention, whether we use a C-curl or a D-curl? Absolutely, because the attachment level is less, the bonding surface is less, which means it's gonna have a higher hold if we use a C-curl versus a D-curl. Now, again, we're only talking about efficiency and making sure that we're getting the best retention. This isn't necessarily determining on whether or not our client wants a C-curl or a D-curl. This is strictly on efficiency, on retention, and getting the best bond, okay? Now let's talk about our downward lash. Okay, so I kind of drew these out to just save us some time here. So of course this would be our D-curl and then this would be our C-curl. Again, we're going with the level of bonding surface, which is definitely going to be less. Now, because the lash is facing upward on this one and the lash is facing downward on this one, we're gonna have to factor that in when we're looking at the overall set and the level of retention we could potentially be getting here. Now, of course, we're still gonna have the same thing where we'll have a more bonding surface with our C-curl versus our D-curl because it definitely curls up more. Now, one thing I definitely want you guys to understand is that when we're working with a downward lash, chances are we're gonna have a little less bonding surface than we would with an upward lash, especially on the D-curl. Okay. The other thing I want you guys to understand in my masterpiece drawings here is the fact that the extension is going to have less support, okay? So although the bonding surface is of course going to be eliminated, or not eliminated, but reduced when we're talking about downward lashes, which is also a factor that we should think about when our clients are asking for specific sets. Because let's just say you have a client that has downward lashes and she wants a D-curl or she wants a DD curl, okay? Now that being said, if we do produce a D-curl or a DD curl, of course the bonding surface is going to be much less, which means that there is a risk of lower retention. Now, I feel like a lot of people are gonna be like, well, you just use more glue. Yeah, sure, you could use more glue and it'll have a great hold, but remember that there's going to be a space between those two lashes. So what's gonna happen here is that the more you touch that space, the more you brush, the more you, just any friction at all, it's going to reduce that bond. And because there isn't that much for the extension to bond to in the first place, then the extension can definitely lose its retention faster, okay? Now, I feel like this is something that isn't necessarily talked about a ton, but it's something to keep in mind when we are choosing curls. Now, that being said, let's say I had a client, again, that wanted a DD curl. She came in and she was like, I want XYZ, and her lashes were even more downward than this, or just downward in general. I would always recommend a C curl and explain it to her. And if she still felt like, no, I definitely want to do a D curl, so on and so forth, no problem. I would definitely recommend maybe we mix the curls a little bit, so then that way she still gets the drama that she wants, but we also have that level of retention that we know we don't have to worry about those lashes potentially just flicking off, okay? Now, again, we also want to use enough glue, but remember that the glue isn't the factor here, because at the end of the day, we're not attaching enough of the lash to the extension. Does that make sense to you guys? I really want you guys to understand that, because I feel like a lot of people are just like, well, just add more glue. But you're adding more glue to the same level of retention, or the same level of bond. We're not expanding the bond, we're just adding more adhesive. And again, we don't want to add too much adhesive because we never want the lashes to be sticking together. So then that gets a little tricky as well. So again, just the idea of understanding this is going to help you pick the right curl when it comes to different variations of lashes and different variations of natural lashes. Does that make sense? Cool. Okay, I was totally going to another point here before I got into that point, but my point here is that we need to talk about support, okay? Now, with this lash, okay, because the natural lash is naturally going upwards, that lash is going to have a lot of support even if it's going upwards. So that means these extensions are nicely supported. When you have a lash that's going downward, the support is no longer there because the lash is going down, there's no support to lift the lashes up, okay? So that means that the longer you choose the length, because now we're talking about length for a second here, the longer the length is that you choose, you have to remember that they are not going to sit the way these lashes sit. They're not going to sit upwards, especially when you go curlier, because what happens is when we see downward lashes, we think drama, we think lift, we think length to really emphasize or correct the downward lash. But sometimes what that does is ends up weighing it down and reducing the retention. So sometimes shorter works better, slightly lifted works better, we get better retention, they still get the drama, and it's really about educating our clients to make sure that we get the best or the most out of their set, okay? Now, that being said, could I have done this video in a better way, not on my whiteboard? Yes, but I really wanted to show this to you guys. I really wanted to get this out there, and I really wanted you guys to start using this on a regular basis. So next time you have a client, look at the natural lashes and really take in the direction that they're going in terms of how they're being grown, and then pick your curl based on that, not just the style, okay? And what I mentioned earlier, we have two reasons for each variation. We're gonna have a functional, efficient reason, and then we're gonna have a styling reason, okay? We have to find something in the middle that works for both, okay? The different variations are going to either help you or break you in one way or another. So I will talk about that in my next video. But for now, if you guys have any questions, I hope that you guys like this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will be back with something new next time. Bye.